Hi guys, welcome back to Java Programming. This is episode 22 in which we are going to continue with exception handling. So these are the contents which we'll cover today. First we'll see how to catch multiple types of exception, then we'll see throw and throws keyword, then we'll see finally block, then we'll see try with resources, then we'll have a look at user defined exceptions, and finally some common exceptions. So let's start. So this is how we can catch multiple types of exception. We can make use of pipe operator like this. So this is exception 1, then exception 2, and finally the instance name. The throw and throws keyword. If a method does not handle a checked exception, the method must declare it using the throws keyword. The throws keyword appears at the end of a method signature. You can throw an exception, either a newly instantiated one or an exception that you just got, by using the throw keyword. Try to understand the difference between throws and throw keywords. Throws is used to postpone the handling of a checked exception, and throw is used to invoke an exception explicitly. Okay, now consider these examples. So here we are making use of throws keyword. So if we do this, we make use of throws keyword, we don't have to place our code inside a try catch block. The finally block. The finally block follows a try block or a catch block. A finally block of code always executes irrespective of occurrence of an exception. Using a finally block allows you to run any cleanup type statements that you want to execute, no matter what happens in the protected code. So this is a syntax. This is your try block. Then inside try block you place your protected code, and this is followed by catch blocks, and at the last there's a finally block. Okay, now let's see an example. So this is our code. We have declared an array of type int of size 2. Then we are trying to access the fourth position of that element, which is going to give us an exception. So this is the output which we get. So first it's going to throw an exception throw Java lang array index out of bounds exception. Then in the finally block we get these two statements. First element value is 6 because we have assigned that value to 6 over here, and finally we print the finally statement is executed. And please note the following points. A catch clause cannot exist without a try statement. It is not compulsory to have a finally clause whenever try block is present. So that means try and catch can exist without a finally block. The try block cannot be present without either catch clause or finally clause. Any code cannot be present in between the try, catch, and finally blocks. So I cannot place any line of code over here because these two have to be consistent. Then let's see try with resources. So this is an example. Okay, this is an example of try without resources. So this is how we normally do it. There's a try block. We declare our file instance of file class, then we perform the desired operations, and so on. Try with resources, also referred as automatic resource management, is a new exception handling mechanism that was introduced in Java 7, which automatically closes the resources used within the try catch block. To use this statement, you simply need to declare the required resources within parentheses, and the created resource will be closed automatically at the end of the block, following the syntax of try with resources statement. So look at this, try, then after try we have a pair of brackets, and inside that pair we initialize the object of classes which we are going to need. Let's see this example of try with resources. So this is a try block, and this is where our instances are, and this is the location of file. Okay, now the question is, what's the advantage of using try with resources? The main advantage is you don't have to close your objects like we do in normal try catch block. So here we have used normal try catch block, and here we are closing the objects. So when we use try with resources, we don't have to do that. So as you can see over here, there's no close statements in the catch or finally block. Following points are to be kept in mind while working with try with resources statement. To use this class to try with resources statement, it should implement auto-closable interface, and the close method of it gets invoked automatically at runtime. You can declare more than one class in try with resources statement. While you declare multiple classes in the try block of try with resources statement, these classes are closed in the reverse order. Except the declaration of resources within the parenthesis, everything is the same as normal try catch block of a try block. The resource declared in try gets instantiated just before the start of the try block, and the resource declared the try block is implicitly declared as final. So you can pause the video and take a note of these points. Now we come to user-defined exceptions. You can create your own exceptions in Java. Keep the following points in mind when you write your own exception class. All exceptions must be a child of throwable. If you want to write a checked exception that is automatically enforced by the handle or declare rule, you need to extend the exception class. If you want to write a runtime exception, you need to extend the runtime exception class. You just need to extend the predefined exception class to create your own exception. These are considered to be checked exceptions. So now let's see an example. So this is a syntax. Class my exception extends exception. So this is our example. So this is our name of exception which extends exception class. So this is a constructor and these are the parameters. Okay, now this is a sample program of how to use this declared exception or user defined exception we have just made. So we can create a class and we can have any number of methods in that which makes use of our user defined exception. So here we have used our previously made exception this. Then in the main method we can perform all the operations and check for the output. So what you can do is you can pause this video, you can type this program in your compiler or IDE and then you can check the output. Okay, moving on to common exceptions. In Java we can define two categories of exceptions and errors. First is JVM exceptions and second is programmatic exceptions. JVM exceptions are exceptions or errors that are exclusively or logically thrown by the JVM, and these are the examples: null point exception, array index out of bounds exception, class cast exception. And programmatic exceptions are the ones which are thrown explicitly by the application or the API programmers. These are the examples: illegal argument exception and illegal state exception.